Okay, so last week on Chapters Over Coffee, we talked about how Isla was faring with her powers now unlocked, as well as her relationship with Aura. This week, we're going over pages 110 through 168. We get some more backstory on how Grim and Isla met, some twists in the story, and more questions that need answers. And I love that they didn't like each other. Her and Grim couldn't stand each other.
Yeah, they had very tense chemistry. Um Between them two.
But it makes me wonder, like, how how does it go from here? Like, they hated each other, but like, how do they fall into that
Well, I mean,
lovers,
obviously
the
they worked
enemies
together
to
to find the
lovers?
fucking sword, but do you think, oh my gosh. So, okay, because of this stretch of chapters, I'm second guessing my whole he's not involved in any way.
Yes, so was I. But I feel like it's not what we
I still
think
don't
could
think it's what,
happen,
yeah, I still don't think that.
but
But,
he's involved somehow. I just don't know what.
and they got the prophecy and then we didn't even get to read about it.
Part of
Like
it.
nothing was said in it. The only thing that was said was what had been said months ago about um lies and secrets between them or whatever. And that was it. Which I feel like there was more to that.
Well, she
Um
did. The oracle did say to come back alone, and she would give her the final prophecy.
okay. Oh my god, you know what?
Did you skip it?
You skipped two fucking pages. I'm like wait a second. I went from the first page into you hate him, you hate him, you hate him. And I was like, we're just gonna get left on red right now? Like, I get nothing?
I'll
I
fill you
fucking get
in.
nothing?
Okay.
Okay.
Oops.
Two whole pages.
Okay.
Fuck.
I will
Okay.
fill you in when we get
Anyways, I was
there.
pissed. I was pissed. And my pages, oh my god, they must have stuck together. Because even I flipped back and I was like, okay, we're going from, and it made sense because it was like voices echoing, and then all of a sudden she's telling herself, "You hate him, you hate him, you hate him," and I was like, okay, so we're just skipping over the fact that we just fucking talked to the Oracle, and I get nothing in this chapter. No, it was just
Yeah.
me. I just
She
had a
told her
moment.
some things. She told her some things, and
Okay,
then she has
okay,
to go back. And I have it all in my notes, so I can give you like
okay.
the quick
Yeah,
rundown when we get there.
ah, okay.
You're gonna have to double check your pages this next few
Yeah,
reads.
yep.
Okay, so starting off, she is at Star Isle, but it was in ruins. The castle was abandoned, and towers lay in sparkling silver dirt. Isla checks with Marin if everyone is all right. She asks if the rebels attacked, but Marin believes they were only recruiting and looking for something. She believes they're desperate because the crypts can be dangerous. But what are they looking for? And this is jumping ahead because we find out what Grim and Isla's deal is. Are they looking for that? Like, is that what they're looking for? Or are they looking for completely something else?
I think they're looking for something else because I feel he already has it. Is how I feel. Like he
Oh,
found it in
yeah.
all of the chaos. Like we're gonna find out that he found it and all of the chaos towards the end and everything. And that's why if he's involved in this attack, this
That
war that's
makes
brewing,
sense.
that's why he's got the fucking balls to do it. Because he's got this all powerful sword.
And that makes
That's my.
sense because the Oracle does mention something, and I'll get to that when we get there. She does mention about something they have.
Ooh, is that in the vault?
Yes. Oh, she does bring up the vault too, so we'll get into it because
Okay.
you totally missed it.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
you totally
I did.
missed
I
it.
did for sure. Like,
Everyone on Star Isle is pretty much children. Only a few dozen look to be Isla's age, which is understandable since they couldn't make it past, 25. Isla let them know she doesn't know what she's doing, and then little Cinder replied, "No one
I love
here's
her.
does."
I love her.
Yes, yes.
Let it out, girl.
Mm-hmm. We learn that there are 100 or so starlings left, give or take. Nobles are the ones that live in the castle. So this is kind of points out nobles are different from like people. So like nobles are kind of like your higher end, maybe the
Yeah,
richer
I see. I took
ones.
them as kind of like
I thought it
the
was just
dukes,
how
the
they.
duchesses, the rich families. But
I thought that's how just they addressed everyone. Like that's how instead of calling them people, everybody was like
yeah,
nobles. There are 8 of them. She was honest with them that she didn't want to be their ruler, but she'll be what they need her to be. And Marin just said that all they need her is for her to stay alive. She gave them a chance at a long life, and they intend to use it. Marin and a guy named Leo. We haven't found too much about Leo or who he is. Just that him and Marin were talking. Were leading her to where they lived. On the way, Cinder asked what the king was like, and Isla told her that he was brooding, however you
brooding,
pronounce. Some people, I think, either way. I've heard it used either way. Brooding.
brooding. Like,
But Cinder didn't know what that meant, so Isla just said that he was serious. Cinder tried asking what the mainland was like, but Marin got after her to leave their ruler alone. And then we find out that the most Starlings lived in a building that housed dozens of makeshift houses. There was a fire 2 years prior that burned where they lived, so they moved while others went their own way. I wonder where the others went though, like because they can't go back to the one side of the isle because of the creatures
well,
had
it
take
said
over
some
where
of
they
them
live.
were over there. It did say some of them were over there.
Did it? I must miss that one.
Hmm.
Isla wondered why they didn't move elsewhere or even in the castle. The castle was for the nobles and the specters who were too troublesome to live with. While their residences were on the far side of Star Isle where the creatures took over. They had to kind of evacuate where they originally were living. We do learn that many of them do not know how to wield their power. So Isla promises that she won't let anyone harm them. But I think I didn't write this down, but Marin like smiles at her and stuff, but it's kind of like hesitant. Like she doesn't trust her just yet because of everything they went through.
Yeah.
Isla returns to the castle with Oro waiting for her. As she told him everything, he like completely ignored and just like I was worried about you. He points out that she's not sleeping well or eating well, and that she seemed haunted, and she was, just not by what, but who. She didn't want to think about Grim right now, and then she's like probably like in her mind like a thought that she started to expect Aura's presence all the time because he was always there and he recognized the signs that she wasn't fine. He knew her and she wanted to know him. She wanted to know what it was like to touch Oro, to feel his heat against her body. But before she could say or do her thoughts, Oro kissed her head and told her to rest. Okay. So, going into the next chapter, we get a little bit more backstory about her and Grimm. So starting in, Isla thought of herself as a fool. She was her worst critic, but she was trying to be nicer to herself lately. So she portals herself to Grimm's room. A few days prior, he came to see her and tricked her into revealing her portaling device. I wish we had that. Like, I wish we got to read about that, like what his reaction to
I
that portaling
know,
device was.
yeah.
But before he could take it, she cried and begged him to let her keep it. Grimm called it his. Isla believes he was the one who enchanted it because objects could be infused with power, but it came with a cost. Shortened life depended on how much ability was given. So this makes me wonder, does he feel it when she uses it?
Oh, that's a good thought. Like if it was imbued by him, it's connected to him.
Right. Well, and it's just like later on we find out like she can feel when Oro uses her powers.
Oh yeah.
So it makes you wonder, can Grimm feel her every time she uses the star stick? Is it even
Makes
called?
sense.
Is it even called a star stick?
I think
Like
that's just what she calls it. I think we'll find out
because of
maybe what
puddle
it's actually
stars.
called. Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder if we'll find out if he says that he could, excuse me, feel her using it every time.
Yeah. Can
Or
I
is that
just
how?
comment on how his bathroom sounds?
Yes, the claw tub.
Especially the shower with, like, the little rain
What?
thing, like, it was, like, the
Yes.
waterfall. I want one of those waterfall, like,
The square
things. You can get
ones?
them.
Though, are you talking about like
I
the
don't care what
square
shape it is, but
shower
yeah, the
heads?
ones that come out further and it's, like, right on top of you, you can get them to, like, swap out, and Derek's like, "It's not gonna be the same water pressure," and I'm like, "It literally just swaps out from what's there." Like, you don't have to do anything, you just hook it up like a shower head. If that was the case, a shower head would fuck your water up, like, you wouldn't have water pressure, but it doesn't work that way.
Pretty much your water pressure
I want
just depends on
one.
how much your pipes put out. So,
Yeah! Yeah, how crusty they are. The crustier the pipe, the less water you have. I don't have that issue.
after waiting for over 30 minutes, Isla was about to use her star stick when she heard voices. Her star stick was lifeless in her lap, so she hid. She found a door that led to a bathroom where she hid in a massive onyx tub. The star stick was dead in her hands, but she believes something about Nightshade makes it difficult to use. But I love that she calls herself stupid, and then she had to look at like the star stick and be like, "Oh, is it calling you stupid?" Unless like it didn't
Yeah.
work, and then it was stupid. Someone entered the room, and Isla hoped they'd leave, but instead she was stabbed with something sharp. She screamed. Her dress was soaked through, not with blood, but water, because good old Grim was coming to try and take a shower. She offered him,
Busted.
yeah, she offered him a peace offering, an elixir the wildlings have been working on from the bud of a certain rare flower. When extracted correctly, it healed all wounds but couldn't remove pain. So I wonder if this is the elixir she brings to the Centennial.
Yeah, I think this is when they were getting further with creating it or just created it or whatever.
Right.
Stuck
Rambling,
in a
Isla told
hole.
him. Isla told him it was ointment for his scar. She tells him she didn't mean to portal there. It was a mistake. She also said she didn't mean to stab him. It was an instinct. She knew what she was doing. She just didn't think he'd come find her.
That but she did have to think fast in the moment, so it was probably just her first instinct, honestly, to stab him, and then afterwards, it was like, "Oh,
Oh shit.
fuck, I messed up.
Yeah.
I should not have done that."
She came to offer peace because she doesn't want they don't need to be enemies. Excuse me. Grim drops the vial into the sink, causing it to shatter, and tells Isla to get out. My opinion, he wanted that scar. He wanted it as a memory.
I don't know. I don't think we're there yet to where he appreciates it. I think he's just like, you came into my territory, you stabbed me, like, you're not off the hook that easy.
I don't know.
I don't know. Or, I don't know, maybe he's just being a hard ass. Doesn't wanna know that it's like Aura was, like, "I'm not attracted to you. Imma be a dick." So
Or
Grim's gonna be a dick.
she doesn't like me. Like, because it's the first woman, like, that he's like drawn to and will go back to. So, and she stabs
Yeah.
him, so he's got to like play it off like he doesn't want her. Isla wanted to agree to peace and ask what she could give him, but he replies with, "You are incapable of giving me anything of value." So she decides to settle with a duel. If Isla wins, all ill will is to be forgotten between them, and if Grim wins, she's not to return. She mentions her swords are in her room, so Grim portals them there. And she suggests that they go to the forest. Grim was able to walk through the walls while she had to crawl through out her nearly too small window in the process of ripping her dress. Every step Grim took, the shadows in the woods seemed to lengthen towards him. Then he struck, but Isla was prepared. He would have sliced her right across the middle if she hadn't practiced every day for 2 decades. Uh, so I'm wondering because my notes just kind of go into their duel. I believe his duel was not to go against like the past between him and Oro, like how I thought at first. I think the duel during the centennial was to help bring out her memory that hey,
Yep.
this wasn't the first time that we did this. It was
Yeah.
his way of trying to bring that memory alive without giving it back to her.
Because there was something.
Yes, later
Maybe it
on.
was
Yeah, it's in the
maybe it
next
was in one
chapter.
of her other ones.
It's in the beginning of the next chapter, actually, because I just found the note of that that I had in there. Isla started to believe she wasn't good at swordplay as she thought she was. Because Grim had 500 years and active experience, her skill was nothing. Winning seemed impossible, but then she realized it wasn't impossible because she knew the forest and that was her advantage. So, renewed with determination, she matched each of his blows. Which he does seemed impressed though how she kept up with him during this duel. She moved them in a certain direction right into bog sand. Once Grim was in it to his ankles, he couldn't move, and he states, "You know I could portal out of this if I believed it would impact my chances of winning." But Isla considered that cheating, and he considers her move cheating because she got him stuck in the sand.
Yeah.
So an angry Grim swung his blade harder than ever, and Isla met him stroke for stroke. Without warning, he reached between their blades and pulled her atop him. His blade tip was positioned right against her heart. He had won. And he tells her, "I don't want to see you in my lands again." He then vanishes, leaving her to fall face first into the bog sand. And this kind of goes back like in the next chapter, she had woken up on the floor, having fallen out of her bed with from her memory. The match at the Centennial was not the first time they had dueled, and this is where I put my notes where I thought it was like a dig at Oro, their past and the duel of, you know, the two creators of Lightlark at the time that we had thought of, the Sunling and our Lightlark and Nightshade and stuff. But I think it was to help with her memory.
I think so too, because at the top of page 124, it says he bared his teeth at her. That's exactly what happened when they were set to duel in book 1. She had that flash of his bared teeth, like he wanted to
Oh.
bite her. That was a flash of a memory from this duel. He knew
Yes.
exactly what he was doing. And we're going to end up finding out more and more that he
What
definitely was playing his hand to get her to remember.
remember?
I don't think he wanted to lose her completely with the plan that he had with Aurora, because it was to get her to fall in love with Oro or whatever, or to, make him vulnerable and everything, that he was probably afraid that he was going to lose her completely. So he had to like kind of like tug at the memories to kind of keep her there. And it definitely worked because she was able to still feel that connection and stuff, and those little pops of memories where she thought that he was fucking with her head, which I thought he was fucking with her head.
Right, so did
um
I.
it kept her kind of like getting a little more curious and stuff as the days went on. So he played it very strategically and smart.
Yeah. So I wonder what else like he did during the centennial that was supposed to like try to bring up like her memories.
I don't know. I can't wait to find out though.
I know, which it seems like the next section, like we get a couple more. It's just getting longer and longer.
Yeah.
Okay. She was pleased with herself being able to best an ancient warrior, but he was holding back to make her look strong. Now, this is during the centennial, so they'd think twice about attacking her, which makes sense. He already knew that she didn't have powers,
Yeah.
so he's making sure that everybody else does without coming out and said, "Hey, we've done this before." And then this is when realization set into her mind. The demon let her win.
She
She
called him a
couldn't.
demon. Like,
I
her hate
know.
for him right now is really just digging deep. Like, I'm honestly afraid of what she's gonna feel when
They're fully there.
they're fully like she's rewatching their relationship kind of unfold,
Mhm.
in front of her, basically. And like, so far she's just remembering the beginning, their first interactions and stuff. So of course
Where
she
they
hates
hate.
him. The betrayal, the fresh betrayal of finding out that he was secretly working for a war. Like, he was tricked and she doesn't realize that.
Just like
Or
she
she doesn't
was.
understand that. Yeah. And so now we've got these fresh memories of their horrible tension, their distaste, their loathing for each other, and she's just rolling with it because she's already got that feeling inside her. So she's like, man, this all makes sense. Like, I fucking hate him. But then it's like, how is she going to feel? She's building this connection with Oro. And like, I think that I'm starting to think that she's might be like, they might be some genuine feelings. I don't know if they'll last once she gets her memories back.
Yeah,
But I
because of
think
what
that they're
she,
becoming genuine feelings, not so much just friendship, but like legit.
especially with
And
what she has Oro
it's,
ask her to prove that she was telling the truth.
yeah. And it's all just going to kind of come crashing down because she's going to be stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm going to be really sad though because I don't know, I think her and Oro are okay together.
See, but we got to learn
I
more
said
about her and Grimm.
okay. I said okay. I didn't say perfect. I didn't say endgame. But they're cute. They're like high school sweethearts, kind of like babies. figuring out what love is okay, not like forever type of love, but yeah, we'll see.
Isla couldn't stop the visions, but she could at least replace them and erase him. And I feel like that's kind of like what she's doing though with Oro is like she's trying to mask everything with Oro to erase Grimm, and it's gonna backfire eventually.
Yeah.
During training, Isla rushed to move the rock to finish the lesson early. She wanted to do something bold, make clear exactly what she wanted. After Isla's shower, she summoned Oro to her room. She walked out in red lace. She waited for him to sweep her off her feet, but he did not move an inch. She gets vulnerable, telling him she can feel it. You love me, why won't you touch me? Then she realizes something and she asks him, are you not attracted to me? She thought she was stupid, foolish just for assuming, but Oro had her against the wall before she could say anything else. And he says, attracted does not begin to describe what I feel for you. Hold on, because I didn't type all this out or write it down. I put that I can quote it in here. So on page 127. Let me figure out where
At the top of the page.
is it. Yeah. He says, every time I see you, I think the gods must play favorites. Every time you're near me, I am overcome with the urge to bed you, to have you again and again. I want to devour every inch of you until you're all I taste, until you are shaking with pleasure in my arms. That is what I want. But he
I
tells
love
her,
that he won't.
yes, he wants everything with her, but not now because he believes she's struggling, and
Mhm.
like he's watching her fade day by day. And I wonder though too is like he knew she had feelings with Grimm, and like I feel like he knows like not to push her because he probably thinks that she's masking it.
Maybe. I mean, at the same time, I think it goes back to he's guarded because he's never allowed himself to love. And if they've had such a connection, then he doesn't want to get hurt either. But I like that he's just kind of like taking his time with her.
This is jumping, and I have it in my notes somewhere because I don't remember exactly where it's at. But she points out that when she needed Grimm the most, he couldn't get her abilities, but that's not on him. That was not on him, but she's blaming it on him. It's solely on her because she has to allow
Yeah.
him those abilities, but she like put that blame on him because she even said when needed the most, he couldn't get them. But she didn't allow him.
Because she had already opened up her heart to Oro and shared him with him. But I don't think she had completely realized that yet.
No, I don't think so either.
And and she hasn't like realized that that's why he couldn't get to them. Like she didn't realize at the moment that she had just opened up her heart to Oro, and she's not realizing now by putting the blame on Grimm that it was because she opened up her heart to Oro and allowed him the access to her powers that Grimm couldn't get them to be the one to save her.
Right.
Can't have both ways, girl.
I know. I just didn't like that she tried blaming him.
No,
I
I
mean,
meant
it's
her. I
silly.
meant I
Yeah,
meant her.
like,
She can't have it both ways. She can't have
yeah.
like feelings with Oro, but be pissed because Grim couldn't do fucking shit at the
I
time
mean,
because you
it's
didn't let him. You didn't let him.
exactly.
That's what it boils down to. You fucking
Yeah.
took him away. Like you
Yeah.
said no.
So it's not his fault. He tried,
No, it's
okay?
not.
He at
Yeah.
least tried. He
Yeah, and
wants
that was because
oh,
of that fresh that fresh betrayal right there when that happened and everything. Like she had just found out from Aurora, like all that stuff happened. Like she had opened up her heart to like without knowing, she opened up her heart to Oro because they had shared all this moments and stuff. She got the heart, she was stabbed, like all of that, and then she had that fresh betrayal of Aurora letting it out that, her and Grimm knew each other and that they were working together and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, okay, instantly I fucking hate you. And, you know, she shut the power off to him. It was just like a lot. And
See, but
being a biddy.
we don't even know when she allowed Oro access. Like
Yeah.
how was it right then and there? Was it previous? We don't know.
Yeah. But that was just definitive right there that Grimm was just not getting it for sure.
Right. Oro wants to know what he can do to help her. He'll do anything, give her anything. She doesn't need to face the world alone anymore. So Isla tells him she remembers. He was angry, but tells her it isn't her fault, it's his fault. Sorry, but it takes two. Just, I know it's like he took her memories away, but he thought he was doing the best, but
Yeah.
she wasn't going to include him in her plan with Celeste there until Oro wanted her to kill him.
Yeah.
She tells Oro she despises him, Grim. Let me make that clear. She despises Grim and that she doesn't want to remember. She's trying to block them out. So Oro suggests Isla moves into his room because Grim's never been in there but has been in Isla's. And his room is the most protected place in the castle. So by that afternoon, Isla's things were in Oro's room and his things were moved somewhere else. Her memories stopped after she moved into Oro's room. So during training, she had better focus and she was growing stronger. Sitting in the forest on the wildling newlands with Lynx watching, Oro and Isla were telling each other what to make back and forth. And then it jumps and says like a week had been gone by without memories and she felt lighter, freer. This time she wanted, and then it goes back to them making things, back and forth for each other. So she cracked up laughing because she wanted him to make that golden blade of grass. But instead, he makes her a rose into solid gold. He was smiling, and Isla's never seen him look so happy. So she tells him that everyone she loved has betrayed her except him. So Oro wants to burn them all alive. He wants to watch them go up in flames. And this was kind of wrong when she makes him ask her if she loves Grim. Like I get what she was trying to do because he can't lie, like he can detect lies and stuff. But the poor man wasn't ready to be heartbroken if she was lying.
I think it's true at this point because she hasn't remembered the good parts of their relationship. She's only remembered
Only
the bad, and she still has that hurt, that betrayal, that hatred for him. So it comes out that it's true. She really does believe that she doesn't love him, that she has no feelings for him, that she does truly despise him. I don't think it's going to stick at all. Like, I don't know. I think it's going to take one good memory and
bye bye Oro.
yeah.
Going back to that, but she wants Oro to ask her if she loves Grim because developed feelings for Grim during the Centennial, but when needed most, he couldn't access her abilities. See, and that's again, that's solely on her. You have to open that bond to allow that person
Mhm.
to use your
Mhm.
abilities, and you didn't go that way. It wasn't
Nope,
opened
it
in
was
his
all because of that
direction.
betrayal. It was all because of that betrayal. So, I mean, it played into that.
Uh, Oro was hesitant and didn't think it was fair to ask her, but Isla gets him to ask anyway. And when Isla said no, she saw the signs of relief in him. She was telling the truth. Isla didn't love Grimm, but perhaps at one time she did, but now Oro was her future. Um, I lost. Okay. Isla finally tells Oro she loves him. Oro had the most beautiful smile she has ever seen. He wanted her to repeat it again a couple more times, so she teased him about never being been taken on a date by him or that he has never kissed her. So he kisses her. As the kiss gets intense, Isla reached for Oro's shirt when Lynx growled in warning.
Mm-mm. You bitches ain't doing that here.
Yep. Then Oro tells Isla that he loves her too. Situated here. Okay. Going into the next chapter, Isla tells Oro she had two ideas. The first one, she wanted to celebrate, I think it's Copia?
Mm-hmm.
Copia. On Lightlark. It was a day of celebrating abundance and creation. She also thought it was a good time to introduce the idea of wildlings potentially coming back. She would not be inviting her people. She didn't want them oogled, judged, or harmed. Which makes sense.
And I love that she wants to rebuild Wild Isle, which I had a
Yes.
feeling was going to happen. And I think we had talked about it in the previous episode or whatever, that they would work together to bring it back. But I really like that she has like started to do that.
Yes, and she wanted a place for Lynx if he decided that he liked her.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
love
I
that,
just think
like,
being closer to like Lightlark and stuff would definitely be good for her people. But I'm also wondering if this will be a way to kind of bring, if she doesn't give up Starling power, if she'll kind of like bring them together.
mm,
Um and kind of grow from there.
yeah,
I think
because
that would
right
be
now
kind of cool.
we haven't gotten much about her trying to like rebuild Star Isle just yet, and any more information about like what's happened on the Wildling Newland on how they're doing now that they have like that source of food and are learning more. We haven't got too much on that just yet. Again, but I love like Oro took her like right away to Wild Isle to start that, and she wanted to bring it back with him. So they used
Yeah.
like he used her powers. And by the time the sun had came down, part of Wild Isle was alive. And this is what I was like going back to because Oro used her powers and she felt it like a hand stroking down the rivers of her ability, and that she had never felt closer to him. So that's where I kind of got like the idea. Like, can
Yeah.
Grimm feel her every time she uses the star stick since it's kind of pulling his power?
But with it being just an imbued object, I wonder if it's just like if it doesn't work that way.
I don't
But
know.
that's interesting to see if they talk about that, because I don't know how an imbued object works. I mean, I get being able to feel it with the connection
Well,
that you have with that person.
this would be well, like, because she said because when they're infused with the power, it came with a cost, shortened life depending on how much ability was given. So I'm like, does it take?
I think so. I think that kind of hints that it worked kind of like the bond breaker or the bond maker. Like you're imbuing something with your power, you're giving a chunk of it away into something. So that is going to take your life. Like when she was draining Isla's
Mm.
like power or whatever, it was like taking her life force with it, and that's why Aurora had died when she took it from her, and it had killed her. But I don't know if it works the same with an imbued object. I could see it working that way because it's like your life force, your essence, you've
Right.
given a part of yourself to an object.
I wonder if we'll find out more about that.
Be something to look out for.
Probably be in like one of like her past, like her past memories and stuff with him. Oh, is this the spicy chapter? Semi-spicy chapter towards the end
Yeah, I
there?
I left it as they banged all night long. And that's how I kind
But
of
they,
like summed it up.
I don't think they fully went the way. I think he just took care of
Um,
her and that was
okay,
it.
they finger banged all night long.
No, he did that. She didn't do anything
Well,
for him
oh,
that we know of because it wasn't written. Although there was a part, and we get to it, I got confused. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I realized I'll get to that point. That night, Isla asked Oro to stay with her. She told him nothing needs to happen unless he wanted more. All he asked was if this is what she wanted and if it'll make her happy. After changing, Isla came out to Oro looking almost horrified. This is funny. She apologized because she was wearing his shirts to bed, but he laughed and said, don't you dare wear anything else. And she had never heard him so possessive before. Later that night, Isla called out to Oro because neither of them were asleep. She told him she needed him, told him, I want you right now. Isla got him to touch her, but in his eyes, she saw torture. She tried to tell him if he didn't want, but before she could finish, he flipped her around and gripped her hips, pulling her against him, and the proof he wanted this just as much as she did. He told her, knowing you've been wearing my shirts to bed, it drives me mad. That's what I'm going to think about when I'm alone, you and my clothes. When Isla confirmed she wanted this, Oro was a man unleashed. His shirt and her underthings were on the floor. And this is where it confused me. I'm like, wait a minute. Why is he just taking off his shirt? She was wearing his shirt. That's what it meant by he took off his shirt. It was the shirt she was wearing, and I had it like
you were
like it.
too preoccupied with the other stuff, apparently.
It was like it confused me because I'm like, did he not take everything else off? Like wrong shirts. It was the shirt she was wearing because it doesn't state it. So in my mind, it was him undressing. But no, it was him undressing her. That was it. Okay, so his shirt and her underthings were on the floor, and then his hands were on her as he said, tell me what you like, show me. So guiding his hand where she needed him most, she told him, don't you dare stop. And then goes into a little bit of detail, but right before she shattered, Oro told her, I want you so much, I think it might actually kill me. But he didn't act on that. That's like the end of it. He took care of her, just like Grimm did in book 1, with nothing in return. Now we are into the next chapter. So tonight was Copia. Her dress was made from hundreds of flowers with their stems woven together that she helped make with the Starling dressmaker. They never did say, or he like if he was confirmed that she stole those outfits in book 1.
Yeah, I never.
Excuse me. Oro had to stop Isla from picking her flowers, telling her flowers don't pick themselves. Those were her drunken words from the centennial the night of that carnival. So she asked him if kings picked flowers. She also told him he would need to cut her out of her dress, so he said it shouldn't be a problem. His only kingly duties was his mouth and whatever was beneath her dress. Oro felt like home to Isla, and then she took the golden rose that he had gilded her in the forest and made it into a necklace.
I thought that was cute.
Yes. The mainland gardens were decorated with flowers Isla bloomed herself. 100 islanders and Newlanders had been invited, not just nobles. Some nobles were left off the list. I'm assuming, um, probably Moonling nobles, because some of them tried to kill her. And probably
Possible.
Starling ones too. My guess is maybe the Starling ones as well. What surprised Isla more, though, was Cleo accepted her invitation. I don't, something's up with Cleo. Something's definitely up with her, like later on when we get further. And I haven't figured it out. But she knows more than what she lets on. Like, there's more that
100%. She even lets it, like, kind of slip with her emotion, with her facial expressions, that she knows something they don't.
Mm-hmm. I believe it.
And, like, I appreciate what she does. It was completely unexpected. Um, but I also get why she's also does what she does. Um, because they all made the comment that Nightshade is way more fucking powerful now that the curses are broken than they were before. So she's like doing what's best for her people, what she feels is best for her people, but
Why did she
also
accept?
has respect enough to give them like the clue, like what she shares with them and stuff,
Oh, but
or shares
I
with
need to
Isla
know,
at least.
although I need to know why she did one thing and does the other opposite.
I think we'll find out in the next stretch of chapters.
I think Soren's gonna play a big part. I think he might play a big part in finding out
I don't know.
on why. Okay, so Isla thanked everyone for attending. In her speech, she told them she hopes wildlings can return to Wild Isle. She also wished everyone a season of growth in the right direction. She took a rare seed and tossed it into the ground, and then a moment later, a tree formed, years of growth in just seconds. This tree has not grown on Lightlark for centuries. It bears fruit that is often enchanted or it's often called enchanted because of its sweetness. At the end of the dinner, there was laughter, conversation, joy. Then everything went silent. Before them, Isla Tree wilted until it was a pile of dead leaves. Darkness smothered them all, and everything in the garden turned to ash. Shadows shot down from the sky like lightning, then raced across the mainland, erasing everything in their path. No screams were heard, though mouths were open. Isla shot her hands out, but no power. A blink and everything returned. It was an illusion. And it was brought up like Grimm's demonstration at the Centennial. Like he showed them an illusion. Then his voice was in all their heads. Consider this a warning. You have 1 month to vacate the island. In 30 days, I am coming to destroy it. Nothing will be left. You can choose to flee to your new land or join me in a new future. The choice is simple. Fighting it futile is futile. The ruin coming is inevitable. I didn't want to believe it was him, but I feel like there's a reason. Like it's not just because. There's a reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any like
I don't either yet. Like, I'm still. This one's a little harder to try
I
to
mean,
make.
obviously it's pointing more that he's involved, not just like at the beginning where,
You
she
didn't want to
hears a
believe.
voice, covered in darkness and thinking that it was him, and I still think that it was just jumbled together, like, she's at the heart of it, and he's trying to bring her back, but with, like, this unless somebody else is there fucking with them and
That's what I
pinning
was
it
thinking
on
too.
pinning it on Grimm, like, I don't
I
know what
almost,
else is going on.
I almost thought
Like,
about, I almost thought about that, and then during the Oracle visit, and you totally skipped this part. She was mentioning things, and at first I'm like, oh, she didn't mention that it was the nightshades. She just says they're coming. A little bit later, it's she mentions the nightshade. I'm like, damn it. I'm like, maybe it wasn't the nightshades. Like it was just all like,
maybe it's
but she
not
kind of
Grimm's dad, or
confirmed.
maybe it's not Grimm, maybe it's Grimm's dad. Like, what if somebody's
Does he
still
have a
alive
brother? Does he
and
have
they
a
don't
brother?
know?
Because he was never meant to be. And I mean, eventually his dad's gonna have to like pass it down. He was always meant to be a warrior. Is there
Yeah,
somebody
what if somebody they
Did he have a
thought
twin?
died didn't die,
You have a twin?
and, like, it's like Aurora, they thought she died, but she didn't die. So
It
what
was her
if somebody
sister.
else died, but it's like, yeah. Oh,
Just need some answers.
I know.
All right, going into the next chapter, Isla had Seal and Ivel fly her to Cleo's steps, where she was surrounded by white wearing guards, followed by Cleo. Isla wants Cleo to stay. She tells Cleo that they are not enemies, and she's been watching her and she does what's best for her realm. Leaving Lightlark would be a mistake, because Lightlark is the base of their abilities, and if she leaves, her people won't last. So Cleo tells Isla she knows so little that she assumes her facts are truth. And this makes me believe. What does she know? Because I feel like she knows more than any of them. What does
Yeah,
she know?
I'm starting to think that Lightlark
There's
they
something
were
about it.
all made to believe that if they left, that they would die, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that's the case. I am wondering if they leave, whatever is in there will be released. All of them there is keeping it at bay. Everything is
Ooh.
fractured, so shit is coming out.
Would that be the underbelly? Is this gonna be like the
I think that
underbelly?
they are there, like, keeping it as a prison.
Mm-hmm.
Since everything is fractured, especially with the curses being broken or whatever, like, they're just, they're falling apart. They're not unified, that it's just causing it to crumble. But I think that's why they were led to believe if you leave, you will die.
Mm.
Essentially, they will because whatever big bad is down there, big bag, um,
It's gonna
big
kill him.
bad is in there could destroy them. That's my new theory after reading this. After knowing what they know is not fact, that there's more to it.
Could it be? Could it be
And that's
what
why
got
Cleo's
left?
like, deuces.
Yeah. Could it be what like Nightshade left behind when they were banished?
Maybe?
Or they're taking back what's rightfully theirs because they were banished?
No, that's true too.
Isla believes Cleo found something out before the last centennial, and that's why she's considering evacuating her people from Lightlark. When Cleo didn't answer, Isla demanded that she does, with thorns growing round her wrists trailing down to the floor. Moonling guards surrounded her in seconds, but as Cleo went to leave, Isla told her they could work together. Wildlings and moonlings are similar. Wildlings could help them fix their diet so they're not relying on fishing. I could not eat fish 24/7. I don't even eat fish now, so no thank you. I had to rely
Uh,
on fish.
I like salmon. And mahi mahi's not bad.
With the Moonling's healing abilities and the Wildling elixirs, they could mend almost anything. Isla then asked Cleo what happened a century ago. Why didn't she attend the fourth centennial? At Isla's question, Cleo's power swept ice across the aisle. It rippled in every direction. She caught a sliver of real emotion pass through Cleo's mask. Pain. So Isla pushed for helping each other for their or excuse me. Isla pushed for helping each other for their realms to survive. She told Cleo to do it for her people. Cleo told Isla she doesn't hate her, but she'll consider it. And then it kind of jumps like to, your next section, and it talks about Grimm was coming to destroy Lightlark in 29 days. Cleo and her people could not leave. If other realms went to war with Nightshade, they would need Moonlings and their healers. All representatives were called for a meeting. Isla about fell out of her chair when Cleo had showed up for once. I wonder if she's just showing up. This makes me now think like she's showing up though to be like, I'm sticking around, to make it think that she's sticking around. And then bam, she
She
just
probably
hits you
wanted
with
to
the,
hear what their plan was to see
I
if they
think
had a
so.
plan, and she's like, "Yeah, nope. I'm
I'm
out."
out. Yep. Isla believed Grimm could do it, that he could destroy them all. I mean, she's seen a sliver of his power. He like demonstrated a sliver of his power. And that was
Yeah.
before the curses were broke. So it's probably worse now. And I believe she has something similar to him. Her power is similar to his.
Oh, yeah, she's life and death, like, 100%.
Well,
She's almost
and
his equal.
when we'll get to this, but when she visits Remlar, when she like tried to pull her power, like I believe she's gonna be just as destructive as Grimm.
Yeah.
Isla caught Cleo watching her, a specter of a smile on her mouth, the look of someone who knew a secret. Again, what does she know? What does she know? So Aura asks Cleo if the Oracle was awake, but Cleo says she refuses to thaw. Now, this throws it off because a little bit later, Cleo comes and visits Isla and says, you need to go see the Oracle. She's awake. But not much had passed. Time had passed between that. So
No, so
was
does she leave here
Cleo
and go directly to the Oracle
and then
and,
goes
like,
back?
salt him out, whatever,
See, I don't know.
or did she not wanna say in front of everybody,
Oh, it
like,
could be
"Hey,
like,
Isla, you're basically the key. They wanna see you. You need to go see them." Like,
right.
because then everybody's gonna be all up in the business.
That could have been too. She Aura does ask Cleo how many healers they have. They have 100 on Lightlark and triple that on the Newlands. So Isla states that combined with their elixirs, they'll be able to heal anything and that they'll start producing more right away. And then Azul believes Grimm is well equipped and determined he must want something, which causes Oro's eyes to flick to Isla because Grimm wants her. Which I don't think it has anything to do with Isla, and Isla believes that as well. She believes there is a purpose. So there's something that we don't know yet. And we learn,
Yeah.
and this is jumping a little bit, but we do learn from the prophecy Isla is the key. Like, she knows what's going to happen. And I'll get more into
Isla
like the
knows?
notes. It'll make sense once I go through the notes. It'll make sense.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so
Can't believe I did that.
I know it's like crucial information. Aura lets everyone know that they have 29 days to either save Lightlark or lose it forever. So that night, as Isla and Oro were in bed, Isla told him that they built an endless summer and she wouldn't let anyone destroy it. Okay, so it's like a day in between. So Cleo had to have like did it like afterwards or like the previous day or the next day or
Yeah.
whatever. Because then it jumps into the next morning, every willing and able adult was to train. Oro went off to Sun Isle with Enya to get their forces together, and Azul was assembling his flight force. That night, before Isla went to Oro's room, she went to hers, where Cleo was waiting for her. Isla was not afraid of her anymore. I love that we get like a backstory on Cleo, though. Cleo states that it was a night just like this one, a full moon, and that she states that she wants to help Isla. And this is like, it gets confusing. Like, she wants to help her, but then she flees. So not quite sure how she wants to go about that. Isla's surprised considering Cleo wanted to kill her, but Cleo stated if she wanted to kill Isla, she'd be dead already. Cleo then brings up that about Isla being locked in a glass box. She then tells Isla she reminds her of him, her son. He died, the curse had taken him. Cleo locked him up just like Isla, but she failed. And that's why she did not attend the last centennial.
Do you think that that was the universe's way of balancing the scales? To break the curses, to go to the centennial, you couldn't have an heir. She had an heir.
He was supposed
So
to
in
be the one.
turn,
I think he was supposed to be the one because their curses had like kind of mellowed out, and she states that they were well managed. So it was more important to secure the future. So she had that heir.
okay,
So that's 100 years in between. So she had time like to for him to get old enough to take her place.
okay, that's
I
true.
think that's
That's true.
how. Yeah, because I'm like, wait a minute. Like she had a kid, but I forget there's 100 years or like there's so
Yep.
much. So by time the kid's all grown up, should be well.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Uh, so Cleo attended the last centennial for him, so no one else would be taken by the curses, and it's why she's helping Isla. Still don't know how she's helping her yet. I haven't put two and two together on how she's exactly helping her. Telling her to go to the Oracle, maybe? That's the only thing I can think like
It's gotta be.
that would make sense.
Maybe putting her on that path.
Or it's to get Isla to go to the Nightshades, like without directly telling her. But Isla believed Cleo wanted something from her. So Cleo then tells Isla that the Oracle is awake and has a message for her. So Isla asks Cleo why she was telling her this and asks if she's agreeing to be loyal to Lightlark, but Cleo states she's only loyal to herself. The next morning, Isla and Oro were on their way to the Oracle when Azul crashed in front of them. Oro asked what happened when Azul said, "See for yourself." All five shot up into the air, Ivo and Seal holding Isla. In the distance, a fleet positioned in the shape of a diamond cut through the ocean. Cleo was on the frontmost ship. Them plus the islanders watched as moonlings were leaving Lightlark. Azul says they're fleeing, but Soren was there telling them they're joining Nightshade. I need to know, why did he stay behind? Is it to stay to find out what's going on in Cleo's
That,
stead?
or maybe he didn't agree. Maybe he didn't agree with her leaving.
I don't know.
Maybe he felt like
So I think he's going to
she
play a
was
big
turning her
part.
back. Maybe I don't know, maybe he just I don't know, maybe I think he felt she was turning her back by joining them. I mean, that's their home. and like
I
you're
don't.
joining the person that's going to come destroy it. Or it's going to seem that way and he's going to report back to her.
All right, so here's where you're going to get some of your answers that you like completely missed. So we are
Listen,
on.
what I read made sense. Like
It'll make
it
even
made
more
sense.
sense.
It fit together.
It'll make even more sense because it's pretty right there. Okay, so this is where we get the next prophecy. So Moon Isle was melting. It was like the Moonlings had taken the cold with them. Arriving to where the oracle was, she was already unthawed. Two of the three sisters were gone, and this one was dying because Cleo injured her. Now, I wonder because the two were there with the third sister. Did Cleo take the two with her to deliver them to Nightshade because they're on Nightshade's forces? It was
Ooh.
never stated because they were previously there the first time, but now they are
Oh yeah,
gone.
because the other two had aligned themselves in book 1 with Nightshade. So that makes sense
So I'm
that she could
wondering,
have taken them.
the Oracle states that she left her alive long enough to tell her what Isla needs to know. The Oracle tells them that Isla's memories are the key. They unlock the world. They're going to tell them why they are coming, what they will do to Lightlark, the weapon they already have, which makes me think it's the sword, and how to stop them. All Isla must do is remember everything. If she can't, then Lightlark will fall forever. The oracle states they are coming, and if they succeed, there will be nothing left. And this is what I'm saying. Like, she never mentioned Nightshade in any of this until later on. The oracle confirms that Isla's visions are real, or her vision is real, and that the vault will change everything if she can find the strength to open it for good. So the vault's going to be a key point. And then this is where the oracle states before Nightshade arrives, Isla is to visit the oracle alone to get her final prophecy. And then she freezes herself back up. So that's when she kind of confirmed Nightshade, because I'm like, wait a minute, she never said it was Nightshade, so maybe it's not Nightshade. And then bam, it hits you with before Nightshade arrives. So her memories are a very big part, and that's why she goes to Remlar. So now does it kind of like make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, why she would need Remlar. But the weapon makes me believe he's got the sword. Now, we just don't know. Did Isla truly help him find that sword and she just can't remember?
It's definitely going to be a memory.
Or did somebody else help him? Did Cleo help him? Her necklace was pointed out, so I wonder if that. And maybe it is something for her son. Really, probably like misread something. I do that once in a while.
I don't know. We might
I have
find
to go.
something else out.
Definitely have to go back and double check on that. Okay, so Isla tells Oro she doesn't want to remember. She also tells him she hates him for not just taking her memories away, but in the memories themselves. And she's talking about Grim in this, not Oro. But she wouldn't put her own happiness above the safety of Lightlark. Isla hates herself for having these memories, but Oro tells her it's not her fault. She was not the person she is now. Later that night, Isla used her starstick to portal herself to Remlar. She wanted to know if he could give her her memories back. Remlar states he could not, but a skilled nightshade could return them, but returning them all at once could be dangerous. And I think that's why another reason why uh Grim wasn't going to give them back to her all at once, and that's why he was like doing these
Mhm.
little things to help her try to remember them on her own.
Yeah.
Because Remlar states the better option was for her to restore them. The more she masters her nightshade powers, the more she'll remember. So Isla asks Remlar to teach her, or more like I think she kind of like demands him and then she has to tell him please, so he'll do it. And he tells her it's simple, just summon to look for the shadows. But whatever her skin touched died. Only her handprint was left dark and sizzling. And makes me wonder, like, she as powerful as Grimm? Because we know what Grimm shadows can do.
Yeah.
We just don't know what all the other nightshades can do. Like, does all the nightshades have this type of this excuse me, destruction? Like where everything they touch dies? Um, but when she turned, she wasn't in Sky Isle Woods anymore. And then the last chapter we end on is a little bit of the past.
I didn't like this chapter.
You didn't? It was a little creepy.
Mm-mm.
Although
Yeah, I
it
didn't really
makes
care
me,
too much for this memory,
I know it's a
but
little, I think it's more of the filler chapter because
yeah.
they make the deal and what she's looking for. So in this memory, she was in a market. It had been a month since she dueled Grimm. Since then, she spent her days training with Tara and Poppy and meeting Celeste in secret. Isla spent the last weeks looking for an object that was central to her and Celeste's plan to survive the Centennial, a pair of gloves made of flesh. So Isla had searched every dark market and every new land, except for Nightshade, which is where she's at now. They had a famed night market that sold ungodly things. Before the curses, the gloves used to hold more power, but after the curses, the amount the gloves could master was useless. But until she mastered her star stick, Isla was only able to portal where she had been before. Which, I wonder if that's why it took her to Nightshade the first time. If she can, but how did she end up on Star Isle? Is my. Because if she can't master it and she can only go to where she has been before, how did she get to like Star Isle?
See, that's why I thought maybe it was set up that way. When shit started to come out, like maybe it was um like it was planted and it just was automatically set up for her to go to Star Isle to meet Celeste, to concoct this plan and this. I don't know.
Okay, so she portals herself to Grimm's castle. Uh, but with quiet steps, she left the palace and went out into the busy streets. The night market smelled of rotting flesh and boiled blood. One stand sold exclusively solid teeth, another had skulls tied to strings. A seller a seller eyeing Isla's rings told her or tried handing her Nightbane, saying it takes away all troubles and pain, and Isla had never heard of it. So I'm wondering if it's like a drug, if like Nightbane is like the type of drug.
I think it's going to play a bigger
Mm,
part.
I didn't even dawn on me that it's the name of the Oops. Like I knew what the book was named, but I didn't put two and two together. It seemed like a type of
Well,
drug.
and it's in italicized too when she thinks about it. Nightbane. I'm like, okay, that's
Well,
what's
the way
up.
they were describing it, that it takes away all the pain and troubles, is like, oh, it's just a type of drug. Not that it was the name of the book. Okay, so then Isla comes across the stand that sells skin, and it smelled of decay. If no shop sold gloves, she'd have to find someone to make them. The possibility made bile crawl up her throat. The shop was a labyrinth. Some of the weeping walls felt thick. And like, is it just skin? Question mark. But to me, it made her wonder that it was like skin that was like hanging off these walls. That's gross. Ugh,
Yeah.
that is gross. I couldn't even imagine. Someone then placed their fingers over Isla's mouth and pulled her backwards into an alleyway. A man whose flesh hung off his bones, and she believed he dabbed in something dark enough to have leached his life. I seen
I thought
like
it was
zombie
Grimm. I
like.
thought she got busted
Yeah.
by Grimm, or she was in a really bad part and he was at least trying to protect her. And then I read about the man and I was like, ugh.
Okay, the man started inspecting her, saying it would fetch a pretty price. Shiny temptress locks, much must get the root. The whole scalp will do nicely. The lady in the cabin, Akatar. I can't think of her name.
The assassin?
No, 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 no. The one that eats people. Young to stay young,
Oh,
to stay
the
young
the
with the
weaver.
hair. Yes, the
Not the
weaver.
weaver. The
Yes,
weaver,
yes,
yeah.
the weaver. The bone carver's sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or okay, now that it popped in my head, because I'm not a scary movie person, but I have seen The Cabin, but like his flesh falling off, because isn't they don't they have that flesh disease in that
Yeah.
movie?
Cabin
Yeah.
fever.
Yeah, that one. Cabin fever.
The
Yeah, that
infected
one.
water and their skin starts to
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. The man then pulls out a long, curved knife, but Isla had a blade through his chest before he could point it in her direction. At that time, a group of guards chose to walk past. One of them didn't seem too surprised that there was a dead body, but until she bolted, the guard followed her. She pulled out her star stick and it was faintly glowing. All she needed was to find a hiding spot to draw her puddle. By now, everyone was watching. Looking back, she realized all the guards were following her now. Nearby was a ugh, this gives me the creeps. Nearby was a cauldron of boiling blood. So she tips it over, giving her time to get away. That's gross. She
I
was
can only
able
imagine how that smelled.
the iron.
Because
Oh,
like blood already, yeah, has like that
the
metallic
iron.
smell and just I don't know. But I'm also thinking like yeah, because it smells funny and it's a deer, but like when Derek guts the deer, like he field dresses it and stuff, and like when he's in the
You
field, he's got to
smell.
cut the guts out so that way it's easier to drag in. And just like that smell right there, like I've never been around him like when he's done that because you have to like rip its butthole and stuff out and like get its colon and everything. And like I've not experienced that part of it, but like when he's brung it home and he's like hung it and
Right.
stuff to kind of like finish draining, it smells. I
Certainly would.
imagine that with that being a wild animal is a certain smell, but just I don't know. I feel like a person isn't gonna smell too different. We're just not gonna be gamey. I don't know, but I just to
And I'm sure
boil
scent
that,
time. Yeah, yeah, it's like probably
to
way
boil
worse
it.
than just like smelling it. Ugh. She was able to draw her puddle, but before she could jump in, Grim was standing in the center of the road. The guards had called up to her, so he instructs them to take her to the cells.
Why didn't she just jump
Jump it? I
through?
know. That's what I'm thinking. But it plays a big part. It all plays a big part. Isla's wrists were shackled to the ceiling. The guards took her cloak as if it disgusted them that she wore their color. They also took her star stick. But Grim came to see her. He told her she swore not to return, or you swore not to return, but Isla said no, meaning she wouldn't return to his bathroom. Which he did say not to return to Nightshade.
Yeah, I never want to see you in my lands again or something.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the deal. It was just kind of like I'll never come back or what like I'll never come back here or something like that. So like her play on words was smart. So,
She just didn't think
I'll
she'd
give her
get caught
that.
either.
Yeah.
So he then asks her why she's on Nightshade, but she doesn't answer, so he goes to leave. So Isla calls out, "You're keeping me here," to which Grim points out everything she has done with like the stabbing him and portaling on, into his land. And then now, in his point of view, is that she attacked an innocent man. She let him know that he wanted to scalp her head and sell her hair, and then his reply was just, "What do you expect to encounter at a night market?" Which is true.
He's got a point. Like,
She knew what she was getting into, like, and she knows, like, she's heard stories about, nightshades. Like, she knows they're like darker than any other area.
yeah.
Isla wanted him to call her by her name, but Grimm said calling someone by their first name is a sign of familiar. I can't say that word.
Familiarity. I
Yeah. See, I
was
can't say
confident
that.
I could get it out. Familiarity.
Yeah, yeah.
Familiar.
Whatever that word, however you want to pronounce it, because I struggle with big words.
Familiarity.
Or respect. He then demands why she's there, but Isla asks him the same question. He believes they can help each other. He said they are looking for the same thing. And this is where she reveals that she's looking for the skin gloves. Now, is this what gave Aurora away?
I don't know because
It never said what,
she
but
made it sound like she specifically said something about Celeste, about the Starling ruler, that made him suspicious to go there.
but he looks at her strangely. And I
Maybe
didn't know.
I thought it was just because it's like, why is this bitch looking for fucking skin gloves? Like, why is a child coming to this place
And
looking for
maybe
something she has no business looking for? But
until I know more, this is kind of what I thought
unless,
gave it away.
unless, and maybe we'll find out, Aurora had long ago said something about
See, that's what I didn't.
the skin gloves, and that was a suspicious thing that made him go to her, which would be a good twist.
Because you can't forget that before the curses, she had already been in Grimm's bed to bring her, where he brought her the heart. So he's got to know something. So that's why I didn't know if maybe, like, is that what gave her away?
Maybe because
I wonder
we
if
don't
this will be
actually know
confirmed, though.
how long. We don't know how long Isla had been visiting Grimm. As Aurora stated, you've been visiting other realms aside from me or other rulers or whatever. However, she said it before Grimm was suspicious enough to go and then was manipulated by her again to play a part. So I'm hoping we find more to elaborate on that though.
Yes. I want to know what gave it away. Like, what gave her away? Like, how did he figure it out? And the skin
Yeah.
gloves is the first thing I could think of because that's really what she
Because we
wanted.
know what, yeah, because we know he figured out she was Aurora because of their feelings, their aura.
Emotions, the
Yeah.
colors of their emotions.
Um, but yes. So we just need to figure out why he went there and pieced two and two together. So that's something else that'll be good to look for.
Yes. Okay, so Grimm is looking for a sword and believes Isla can help him. It's a powerful one that very few people know exists. I want to know though, how can she help him? Like
She can
to
portal
get
in and out.
places? Yeah, I was gonna say to get places without like being detected better. Like she can blend in more than he can, or is it on her island?
I think it's exactly that.
Ooh. Now, because it was stated, I don't think it's this sword, but she had a ruby hilted sword. when she dueled him. And I don't think that's the one he's looking for because I think he would have noticed it.
No.
But I
He
wonder
would
why they
have
pointed that
bested
out.
he would have done harder to best her, and he would have snatched that thing up or whatever. Or he'd have went back to try to get it. I don't think it's that. Um, I think it's because she'll be able to portal in and out, and like you said, be able to blend in a little bit better. Um, Grim, he's fucking famous, basically. Like, everybody knows who he is, so there's no way that he's gonna get through to be able to find anything.
Right.
Oh, are we gonna find out that plays into his part with getting close to Oro? Like, he suspect that it's on Lightlark, and that was like his plan to get the sword, like help manipulate her? I don't know. I
Well,
don't think
I
so.
believe he's already got it, so I want to know how he has it.
Yeah.
Or did Aurora help get the sword? Or is that
Don't
what
think I don't think he would have. Well, I don't know. Okay, because this is before.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, because they're about to go to the Centennial. So this is like a year before the Centennial. So did he make a plan with Aurora about finding the sword? Well, like, because I believe he has it. Or is that what he was doing during the Centennial when he had places to be?
ooh, yeah.
Was he in the process of finding this sword?
Had to be.
Okay, so if Isla helps Grim, he will not only agree not to kill her at the Centennial, but also be her ally. He'll attend the Centennial, but only if she helps him. But she couldn't trust him, so she tells him no at first. Grim was going to leave her down there, so Isla said she'd help, but she wanted her star stick back. And Grim believes that he'll regret it. But that's how Isla made a deal with the demon. I like that she calls him demon.
I like how he was disgusted because she called it a star stick. Like,
That's what I'm
excuse
saying.
me.
Like,
It's
yeah,
more
like
badass
that's
than that. Like,
like, what's the name of it? Either that or he just eventually he just never tells her and just doesn't correct her because he likes what she calls it.
oh yeah.
So I like though, like every so many chapters, almost like every 1 to 2 chapters, we get like a memory,
Yeah,
and
and
they're getting longer.
each more, yes, gets longer, more detailed, um, pieces a lot more together. That's why I'm like, she's got all that hate for him right now, and it's just building and adding on and adding on. And as that's building up, her feelings for Oro are getting stronger. That it's not going to be good.
Well, I did see like before we started the series that this is like a love triangle or like a why like she's got to choose between them. Somebody's gonna get hurt in the long run.
Yeah. I don't know who it's going to be, though.
Who's gonna be strong enough to handle it?
Or is it going to be one of those where, like, Oro's going to make a fucking sacrifice
He
for her
deserves his.
happiness?
He
Or
deserves
is
his own
Grim gonna make
happiness, though.
or
They
is
both
Grim gonna make
do.
a sacrifice for happiness? Like, I don't know.
Although I can see Oreo. Damn it. Oro and Enya, if
Yeah,
anything. Unless somebody else
I
comes
don't know.
along.
Yeah. I don't know who though, but
Marin? No, Marin's still kind of young.
Yeah,
I mean, she's
she's
old
just a
enough,
baby.
but
Yeah.
I mean, so is Isla.
Leo is about his age.
Actually, Cleo, I think, is older.
She is, but I mean, like, she's up there with him. He's up there with her. Like,
I don't know. I feel like Cleo would keep it like in her realm. I feel like that's what that would be.
somebody obviously liked her enough to have a baby.
Or they sack her like she's like, okay, you're gonna be the baby daddy, and then
Yeah. It's for
ship them
your
on their way.
people.
Yeah, ship them on their way. Call it good.
Oh my god, I'm so tired.
Okay, let me do the little closing. I just put thank you for joining us on this week's podcast. Next week we'll go over pages 169 through 236 and see what lies in store for Isla's memories and her relationship with Oro and possibly Grim. Now that more memories are gonna start getting unlocked, I think we're gonna find more.
I'm Team Isla right now.
You know, you're on Grim's side.
I don't know. Like, I'm in the middle. Like, I get why he did it, but I like that Oro's been kind of that safe space because she's never really had that.
Right.
And like she's broken right now.
But at
And
the
he's
same
just kind of there
time,
to help her stay
trauma.
together.
They have a
Yeah.
trauma bond, and those aren't very good.
Yeah.
That's where things don't like last
Well, I feel like her
because of
and
that.
Grim are gonna have like a trauma bond too. Like I don't
But I
know.
mean, I could see it, but they also had a history. She just,
But she also doesn't remember. So they could have a trauma bond. Like
on how they like went from enemies to lovers.
yeah.
I think they got close looking for this sword.